Oh shit, it's going down! Greetings everybody and welcome to Let's Play Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2 for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. And they start you right off in a robot fight, which is totally optional, but I'm gonna be doing it. So, this is the sequel to Rocket Knight Adventures. It was released in 1994, 1 year after Rocket Knight Adventures, the original, was released on the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, but I said that already. Right now we're taking out Axel Gear again. Only our robots have gotten a little bit more modified, I think. At least his. He can shoot missiles, we really can't. But at least we can dodge now. Not dodge, block. You know what I mean. So, the sequel got a lot of changes, and we're going to talk about them as they come up. Now, most of them, I don't understand what they were thinking. They're kind of changes for the worse, in my opinion, but a lot of them are, some of them are, okay, I'll say a few. Maybe one or two changes were for good, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Right now, I'm going to talk about what I'm doing. I'm playing this game on hard mode, which is one level under very hard mode, or crazy hard, as some people call it. I think that's because the original Japanese version calls it crazy hard. Just because I'm not, you know, a masochistic son of a bitch, I want to at least be able to take a hit or two. Anyway, I will be doing full completion, so I'll be collecting all of the golden swords, which is the whole point I went through this optional fight to begin with, because at the end of it, we collect a golden sword. Now, if you collect all 7 of these, you get to face the final boss as Golden Sparkster, which we'll get to that when we get to that, because that's getting ahead of ourselves. Welcome to Let's Play Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2. Let's watch a cutscene. Okay, so we're not given much in the way of a story. Apparently Axel came and stole a princess, so... Hey, but what more story do you need? This is a Rocket Knight Adventures game. So, let's talk about the most obvious thing. The rocket pack. No longer do you have to charge it yourself. It automatically charges itself, and it charges itself to 2 levels. The first level is just a regular rocket blast. The second level looks like that. It's a corkscrew kind of blast, which does more damage and does other things that we'll get to a little later. Our main enemy in this game is not pigs, it is lizards, reptiles, and herpetiles, if you want to get fancy. They're still using vehicles and such, though. Now, the charging of the rocket is very fast, less than a second for the regular blast, so technically you could almost fly indefinitely through levels if you really wanted to. Anyway, that's, I think, one of the changes for the good. You know, I kind of like the rocket being able to charge very quickly. Now, I don't like it automatically charging, but that's kind of a minor, you know, a minor thing. One of the major things that I can't stand is the way Sparkster attacks. They changed it. His sword, he swings it much slower now. It doesn't shoot the air wave that it used to shoot, so it's just a regular sword swipe. And he... I don't know if it is non-existent or less prevalent, but that temporary invincibility that you got in the previous game almost feels like it doesn't exist. But hey, what can I say? We're gonna take it how we can get it. Also, Sparkster moves a lot slower. I don't know why that is, but whatever. So this game has pickups, just like the last game. Jewels, if you collect 10 blue jewels, a little, the 3 jewels on the top right there will spin around and you'll get a random item. If you collect a red jewel, it will automatically spin without having to collect a 10. That little pickup I just picked up puts fire on your sword. You can keep it until you take damage, and it pretty much makes your sword do lots of damage, which is pretty good. In this first level, though, it doesn't really make much difference because one sword swipe will kill anything anyway. We got another one. Other pickups that you can get are bombs, which will blow you up, which is totally unfair, but hey, whatever. It could drop another blue gem, another red gem, or sometimes even an extra life, which is pretty good. We need a corkscrew blast through this rock. Alright, so we're actually come up on our first, or our second golden sword, and it's through this wall. But first, oh, look at all these pickups we can get. We're gonna sit here and wait for these. Apples restore 1 heart, just like the previous game. Alright, bunch of useless items we got there. Okay, so that's golden sword number 2. They're usually hidden in harder parts of the level to get to. Now this is only the first level, so obviously there aren't really hard parts to get to, but it's kind of hard. Some people wouldn't think to go into the wall, wouldn't think it was, you know, invisible, but there we go. Now, I will say this. I think that this one is kind of debatable, but a lot of people think the music is okay, but I think that the music in this game kind of falls short compared to the previous. But alas, what can I say? I will at least release them anyway, just like I did before. And this is kind of a sub-boss, or more like a puzzle. We want to corkscrew spin into each of these screws to stop the spinning sections. Of course, you gotta wait for your charge to go to the corkscrew charge, which is when your bar is flashing up there at the top like that. Let's take a minute to talk about Sparkster himself. Obviously, as you can see, he's had himself a graphical improvement too. They gave him a, I guess you could call it more of an attitude look. You gotta remember that this is back in the day when Sega especially had a lot of characters competing to be mascots. We had Sonic the Hedgehog. Sparkster was a major competitor here. There were others, but I'm not going to talk about them at this current point in time. Now Sparkster, I think, actually might have had a chance to be a serious mascot for Sega if they hadn't fucked up this sequel so badly, but whatever. I think Sonic got his place because his sequel, Sonic 2, was greatly better than Sonic 1, but this one, as you will see, is, I don't know, it just seems weird. The level design doesn't seem like it fits. The bosses are pretty terrible. It's just, I don't know, it's just subpar all around. So, we're now in the second part of the level, which is kind of a forest. I guess it makes sense, we were in some ruins earlier. If you let this pink goo fall on you, you will lose your ability to rocket. You'll have to slash it off of you. One other qualm I've got is look how slow Sparkster moves while hanging upside down. You remember in the other game, he would just fly down those poles, but here, he just creeps along. Anyway, to another sub-boss. It's Wispy Woods, or not. I don't even know what the hell that is. It's a face in a vine, and it's flinging bombs at us, so what can I do? Best strategy is to just stay to the left, and whenever he takes his hands away from his face, just try to rocket at him, and, you know, hope for the best! He shouldn't really do you any damage whatsoever if you do this. Sometimes he throws other things, like apples to refill your health, or the pink goo that stops you from rocketing, but like I said, if you stick to the left, it should never hit you. And they give you meat afterwards. Meat actually refills all of your health, but we didn't really even need it there. Alright. I gotta say, I love the facial expression of these lizards or whatever when they get hit. They're just so shocked that Sparkster would be so powerful that one swipe of the sword will take down their minecart. So strategy here, best thing to do is just hang out under that ledge, because they'll never drop there. If you stay out in the open, sometimes they'll drop on you and do some damage. If you're trying to do a no-hit run on crazy hard, you know, you don't want to get touched at least once. So this little part, this guy will follow you around. You gotta be quick to avoid getting hit, which apparently I'm not, so... Like I said, that's why I'm not playing it on crazy hard. I want to have some room for error. So anyway, we're up to the second or third sub-boss. I don't even know. I'm losing count. We've got our woodland buddies helping us out by bouncing us around here. And you basically just want to rocket into the enemy, because his buddies are bouncing him around too. Very simple. Bounce, rocket, bounce, rocket. Like I said, the sub-bosses and the regular bosses in this game are just, I don't know, they just seem like they're lacking. It's just depression and disappointment all the way around. Alright, now we're into a very, I don't know, Mega Man style train level, which seems to be moving much slower, but auto-scroll. I hate auto-scroll. Simply because I just like to move quickly, but whatever. If you fall down, you actually are not instant death. You can jump up. And you'll actually see me do that a few times later because I do fall, but you know, in some games when you fall off the train, it's instant death. As you can see in the back, there's an airship. I wonder when we're going to see that. I bet you we will. Anyhow, the lizard men are paratrooping out of it right now onto our train as we go. There you go, as an example. A lot of pickups for such a slow level. It's not like I really need them. I'll take that fire sword, though. But not that bomb. In later levels, there are enemies that actually take more than one hit to kill, and when you have the fire sword, they can be killed pretty instantly. There was meat in that. There's an extra life in that box there to the left. Now, it's really tricky to get because sometimes you fall. I actually used that enemy to bounce me up onto the drum. Which I guess you couldn't do if you're doing crazy hard, of course, because it would kill you. But it's boss time! And what is our boss? Well, obviously it's the train itself. Where did you think this was going? So the strategy for this is really easy. Do a diagonal rocket so you bounce up to the left, and then shoot back to the right. You're hitting the black orb that's on the front of the train. If you do this right, you shouldn't take any hits at all. Now, sometimes my timing's not exactly perfect, and yeah, I take a few hits there. But this is pretty much the best way to do it without getting harmed. If you just try to stand there and smack the orb with your sword, that wildly flailing arm is gonna get you. Guaranteed. See what I mean, though, Konami? Remember the first boss of the previous game, the spider? And then compare it to this. Seriously. Anyway, I'll be going through this game with a little bit of optimism. I'm going to try and look for the good things, so anyway, that's stage 1. I will see you guys next time for stage 2.